if it worked. Looks like it's not. But I would be kind of embarrassed if it were would just be rambling away. Well, this is a sound check anyway. We have to do this. Let me see if the stream is live.
Is thing on?
Right. Who needs a subject particle? All right. Let me see if it's going on the YouTube side. Okay, it looks like we are live. And let us see if it's actually happening. Who needs a subject? Huzzah! Welcome to the produce aisle. All right. Hi, everybody. Today we're doing kind of a special live with my fantastic co-composer, co-writer, co-producer, co-friend, Claire Cannon. So a round of applause for Claire Cannon. She's been my co-conspirator for many, many years. We've been working together, and this year has been kind of an adventure year as I am learning how the world of sync and licensing works, and how the music business works, and how my role in production works within all of that. And I am about to embark on a trip to the Taxi Road Rally. And I thought I would take the opportunity to explain, like, what is Taxi? And is it a real thing? And how did they get that OG URL? Because it's one word. Here's the reason.
Oh.
They've been around since the 90s when the internet was born.
Oh.
Yep. So Taxi's been doing this whole sync and licensing thing for a very long time. They are a legitimate business.
Those were genuine reactions. I just want to throw that out there.
Hey, Kamikaze Shots, welcome to the...
Hi, Kamikaze Shots.
This is my friend Claire Cannon.
Hi.
And we're here talking about Taxi. I'm about to go off to the Road Rally, and that's their music conference. Taxi is, they call it an independent A&R company that stands for Artisan Repertoire, which basically means that they are talent scouts, and they are scouting. I don't know if scouting is quite the right word. It's like they are kind of a
Craigslist for composers.
I don't know. I kind of see where you're going with that a little bit, but they really curate who they work with, and they offer a whole lot of what are called briefs. And I'm glad you're glad that I'm doing this topic, Kamikaze Shots, because I'm really excited about the Road Rally and excited about sync and licensing, and I feel like it's a whole part of music business that sometimes doesn't get talked about, but since the pandemic, it's been like the hot topic, so to speak. So yes, Taxi provides a whole bunch of music briefs and that means a brief is something that a music supervisor or a music editor, or the person in charge of music for TV, movies, games, whatever, they put out a request, and they lay out everything that they need for the music to sound like. And so Taxi's kind of got this like clearinghouse of briefs that you're available, that are live, pitchable briefs that you can write to. And writing to a brief is really, it's a fine art, and there's a lot of mystery behind it, because you think sometimes, like, we've written for briefs together, Claire and I, and we think, oh my God, we have this one in the bag. We have nailed this, like going through, tick marking everything in the brief that it's like, okay, they want this. We got that. We want this. We got that in spades. We're going to kill it. All right. And then it'll come back and be rejected, and they'll
because of the harp. I have this running theory that someone in Taxi has a thing against harps because we've had 2 rejections of songs that should not have been rejected, in my humble opinion.
They really have not, and we'll play them for you.
Yeah, we will play them, but they both had harp, and so
Yeah.
that's I mean, the evidence is clear.
Maybe they really didn't want harp. This happens is that okay? We'll go through that brief actually because that's a really interesting example where we totally thought we were nailing that brief. The brief called for. They wanted a piano and strings arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
Piano and strings. Okay, what's a harp made out of?
Strings.
Mm-hmm. The harp is a string instrument.
And it's like, I feel so in a brief, it will describe what they're looking for, and then they also give reference tracks. And for this particular brief, it was for like just like mood music, like the like happy conclusion, like
Nailing it.
Thank you. And we nailed it. And the harp, I feel like we had, when we show it to you, we'll paint the picture that we had in our minds, because it's pretty funny.
Yeah. So the cool thing about Taxi is that, so for many, many other opportunities that you get to pitch to a brief, I've had the experience of feeling like I am pitching my music into a black hole and I never hear anything about it. And Taxi's different because they do give you feedback. They give you a little 1-page feedback, and the people who are screeners really do know what they're doing and are music professionals or have been music professionals themselves, so it's all good feedback, but it still hurts to be rejected.
I am gonna jump in here. I was thinking of using harp a lot.
Oh,
well, be careful when you send a Taxi. There's someone out there.
I think it's like screener 419 that's like harp, anti-harp.
Anyways, Lorene is like full-time producer, writer, and I do it more like on the side. And I like my experience with doing these Taxi like pitches with Lorene, even like we've had some like, we've been accepted, like they've chosen our music, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be used. That just means that Taxi has approved, like this fits the brief that was given. So we've had that, and then we've also been rejected, but none of our music that was like that got sent on to the music producer has been used.
Right.
So technically it's been all rejection. But but like in my experience with it, like whether it's rejected or not, like the experience is so cool to like have this very like specific thing that you get to like learn about, like how to build a 50s style sounding kick drum. Like we did that, and it's just the stuff that like Lorene and I have learned and like come up with, and it's like the end game, like it ends up not mattering to me personally. That's my experience, because it's just like so rewarding, and I'm always so proud of what we end up writing.
Yeah,
so
that's true. It's so good to keep that in mind too, because just because something's been not forwarded or been outright rejected for something that you submit to Taxi does not mean that it's a bad piece of music necessarily. It doesn't mean that it's not usable. It could be perfect for another pitch, or it could be perfect with maybe a slight tweak with something where it's like the feedback comes back and they have something specific that you look at it, instead of going like, they didn't like it, oh no, you can say like, oh, that's a really good idea that they had. I will do that to change it. But then, yeah, with this harp thing, it's like, fuck you. No, we're keeping the harp. I love the harp.
We love the harp. And the cool thing too is, you know, some of these deals are exclusive. Is that what that's called? Which means that if your music is used in the end, you are like, that music essentially is no longer yours. Like, you are not allowed to use it anywhere else. These are just some of the briefs out there that have this exclusivity. So if you're rejected from an exclusive deal, that means like, oh, well, like, I guess, like, my song is mine and I can use it for whatever I want now.
Right.
Not that once you send it, like, anyways.
Right. And that is something else I asked about that, where it's like, even if something is forwarded for an exclusive deal, until the paperwork is signed, it's no deal. Mm-hmm. So you can still shop out that music. And if I were to get a placement of something with it, like, where I'd shopped it out and they wanted something exclusively, I could say, I don't have that available anymore, but I have this and this and this, or I can make you something special. So there's options even with exclusive deals. But yeah, I wanted to do like a little walkthrough of the Taxi website a little bit and just show you kind of what it is and is legitimate, and all of these stories that have been like flashing by where everybody's like, I love Taxi, I've my whole life thanks to Taxi, and I make $1 million on Taxi, it's real, and it's all true. Yeah, so it can be an entry point. I think the people who do the best with Taxi take it very seriously and do it daily, and they kind of like, we joke that it's like, all right, what's on the quest board today? Let's do the quest board. So, because they're always getting new briefs, and there tend to be very tight deadlines, quick turnaround times. So it's to your advantage if you're a faster producer, and it's to your advantage to learn to be a faster producer. Yeah, also,
I do have to say though, some of the deadlines are a lot. Like, I feel like the majority are pretty quick deadlines, but like every time we've looked, there have been deadlines that are like pretty far out. So you pretty don't. Reasonable. It's like there's a wide variety of due dates whenever you look, and I think it's mm-hmm. a good space to learn to be a quick producer, if that makes sense.
Beautifully said. Yes, it's a good space to learn to be a quick producer. Absolutely. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad producer if you're slow, and it doesn't mean you're a good producer if you're quick. You know real. What I mean? Yeah. So it is about the quality. If it sounds good, it is good. And yeah, kamikaze shots, I like that. Rejection is not a bad thing. No doesn't mean no. It just means not today. Yeah, in this context for sure. And that piece that you write is forever an asset. It's a piece of literal property mm-hmm. that is yours, and you can make it go out and do work for you. So, Chris Bradley talks about using like all parts of the song, like wants to squeeze all the juice out of the lemon. So it's like, if she writes to a brief and it is rejected, she can then like, oh, you didn't want that? Okay, well, I will put that beat up on BeatStars, and I will license it to other people who want it. And what else did she had like 5 different things that she does with a song that like it wasn't good for that, and she can pitch it all over. Anyway, Chris Bradley is pretty great. Anyway, let me get into the actual website, because the website is kind of old school. It's funny. Like I said, that they were from the 90s. So, oh, good question. Are we separately signed with Taxi, or is it collaboration? I am the only one who is signed with Taxi. And this is, I think it's pretty common, where you have a producer, one party is signed with Taxi, and then Claire and I have a deal that we split everything 50-50 and that we would make. So that's acceptable, because I have ownership. Whoever is in Taxi has to have ownership of the master in some way, mm-hmm. where it wouldn't be any hindrance. So we have an understanding too that like if a music supervisor contacts me about our songs, that I have the right of being what's called one stop, which is like, yep, I don't need to clear it with Claire, because we're already understanding that, and if Claire gets contacted, same thing, like that she doesn't need to clear it with me, because we have an agreement that is our one stop agreement, which means that somebody just needs to make one phone call and it's cleared and it's done. And music supervisors, from what I understand, really like that. So, good question. Do
you want to talk about membership?
Yeah, it is a membership thing. It's pretty expensive, I think, but again, I saw it as an investment in learning and education. This has been my year for that. And as far as that goes, it's pretty cheap compared to some of the other like workshops and seminars and things that I've been to. Yeah. I think I paid $300 for the year with Taxi. And then it's a little bit less if you do a recurring membership. So in theory, this next year will be a little bit cheaper for me since I'm already in. They did raise the price recently because they hadn't for like 20 years. So finally did that. And yeah, I've sort of thought, well, maybe I won't join Taxi again next year, but it also includes the conference. The conference is included in that membership. So they call it a free convention, right? You see it up there on the website. But it's like the cost of the membership. So, and conferences are cost about that.
Wow.
Or more. So, I'm thinking it's worth it, and I think I'll do it again next year too. Actually, let's look at that a little bit because they do have a pretty incredible lineup of what's coming, and this whole one-on-one mentorship thing. Like, I know I'm kind of excited, but this is not a hyperlink. Refer to the member bios. I'm like, I want to. Please let me. But I think I don't know. I have to wait. I will find somebody cool. And yeah, it's the weekend, but then there's
Call.
I should call.
They have amazing customer service.
That's another thing. Yeah.
Like unbelievable.
Taxi.
Ridiculous customer service.
Yeah. I was pleased that we got to speak to a human actually. Right away, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, Kamikaze Shots. This is tax deductible for me because anything music related for me is tax deductible, which is dope. So yeah, and so it can be. I think it's a good investment if you're serious about sync and licensing. So anyway, it's been a baller conference. I'm really excited, and I'm going to be staying with Little Spiral, who you may remember. We've collaborated on this channel and had such a good time. So it'll be great to like meet her in person, in the flesh.
Flesh friend.
My flesh friend.
That's an inside joke Lorene and I have had for a couple years.
Yeah, ever since COVID. It's like, oh, I'm so glad to see you in the flesh. You're my friend.
And then I just looked like this, and I did what I just did.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do it again. Anyways. But it's never gotten old, and it never will.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, anyway,
friend.
Yes. You feel free to use that. Spread the word.
Spread the word, flesh friend.
There's
a hashtag on Instagram of flesh friend, and it's just this like very basic looking girl. With taking pictures with a skeleton just around. It's wonderful.
Really?
Yeah. And I think it's supposed to be
amazing.
The skeleton's Instagram.
I love that.
Taking pictures with his flesh friend.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The rally is in California. It is in Los Angeles. People come from all over the world. It's in the it's in a hotel there. It's like the LAX Marriott.
The rally, I think, is what the conference is called.
Yes, Road Rally. Yeah. So I'm excited. That's happening next week. I leave. Oh my god.
Do you need me to watch your pets again?
Yeah, that would be great.
Cool.
Actually, thank you. I have a zoo, as you may know if you've watched this channel.
A zoo of men's.
I have little men's. I have 2 guinea pigs, a parakeet, and a cat, and all of them are men.
Stanley, Gary, fucking Earl, and Wallace.
Okay.
It's very important, Lorene.
Back
to shushing me?
Back to our scheduled programming.
Back to scheduled programming.
Yeah. So
pets are very important to me.
They are very important to me. All right. So navigating this website is a little funny, but. So we can go to see who needs music to get their quest board.
The quest board.
And they have most things organized by genre or by, you can see new things that are listed today. Now, I don't see that they have the other category.
That's our favorite.
The other category is my favorite. We've done some really cool stuff.
We've done 2 French pop songs.
Amazing.
With actual French.
Yes.
Lorene wrote a song in French somehow.
Yep.
She doesn't speak French.
I really don't.
It's very good. It's one of the songs that got rejected because of the harp.
Yeah.
We'll play it for you.
Did that one have a harp in it too?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, we'll play that. So it has such fun things. And what's cool about this is that sometimes they're looking for full songs. That means like full on lyrics, everything. And sometimes it's like a record label. Am I boring you, Claire?
We woke up really early today so Lorene could pick me up at the mechanic because I dropped off my car. So that's why I am yawning.
Okay. Fair enough.
Flesh friend.
Yes. So sometimes it's record companies looking for new talent to sign, and sometimes it's companies looking for a theme song for their TV show. You don't always know from the listing. But
can you explain what a music library is?
A music library it's a publisher, basically. It's a collection. It's a company that collects songs in order to use them for movies, TV, games, in order to license them out.
So like essentially it's literally a library of songs, and music editors or producers instead of like going to Taxi or going to, I don't know, Warner Brothers, I don't know what they do, they'll go to this like music library to be like, hey, I need a cover of this song, blah blah blah, do you have it?
Yeah.
And sometimes, I think you've told me this, that like sometimes music editors or supervisors or whatever will like continue working with the same library. Like they like you build relationships with, and that's a thing like with Taxi that's really cool, is that it has like an incredible reputation. And so like these listings are like very real, and because they are reputable. They like provide to these supervisors and these music libraries like really solid music to choose from.
Yeah. That's all clearable and everything because they sort of screen it all first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And by clearable, you mean licensed and mastered and stuff, yes?
Clearable, yes. Nothing is in the way of them getting that song. Right now. Yeah, the turnaround times tend to be really quick. So, like, if music supervisors don't like it when something's like held up by a publisher or held up by a co-writer that's not ready to sign off or whatever. Like, they don't wait for that. There's too much else out there for them. Roke, hi, welcome. We are doing a special on Taxi today because I am going to the Taxi Road Rally next week. This is my friend and co-conspirator, co-composer, and co-writer Claire Cannon.
And flesh friend.
My friend, my real live in the flesh friend. And here we are. Yeah, in this age of digital collaboration, we actually have a 3D live collaboration. Hi Sam Junior Music, how's it going? Yeah, so why was it rejected because of harp? We don't know. We thought it was good. You'll listen and you'll have to judge.
So there's one piece, it was an instrumental that was rejected partially, like they like mentioned the harp in the rejection, but the French pop song was rejected, and we were baffled. And I was like, I bet it's because of the harp, because they rejected our other song because of the harp. So it's just my running theory.
Yeah, it's true. Sam Junior Music says, I agree. Back in the day, as music producers didn't like middlemen. That's right. So, music supervisors and music editors, they want to deal with things directly and quickly. So Taxi provides that by doing a lot of the screening work up front and making sure that everybody who is a member of Taxi and everybody who gets forwarded, like that these are songs that are going to be easy to clear because it like all the work is kind of, all the groundwork is sort of done by Taxi. So these are real opportunities. And yes, okay, let's talk about that listing that was rejected because of the harp, okay? Something I want to talk about. So there's loads and loads of listings, right? It goes on and on and on. On and 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 on. And you can see so many great opportunities. And
let's go through one before we go look at our actual songs.
Okay, yeah.
Like just to
sure. Yeah, this top
look at what it looks like.
This top one. I noticed that Kamikaze Shot said that it's nice that they have the references. Yes. So let's look at a real live brief. For this very first one. This is today's new listing. This just popped up, right? And it's due November 16th, okay? So that's the kind of turnaround time that happens. Like, that's pretty quick. It just like popped up today, I think. Mm-hmm. So they want fun, funky indie pop songs with male or female vocals needed by a top-tier music supervision company that has a long list of placements in TV, commercials, and advertising. To me, that says library. Sometimes these things take a little decoding.
It specifically, it has in the past specifically said library before, but
sometimes
right.
That's a little mysterious to me.
It says library to me too, but
yeah. That's how I am. Yeah, listings are updated daily, and when you become a Taxi member, you immediately start to get annoyed by their daily emails, be like, "Oh my God, Taxi, stop spamming me!" But they're updated emails of things that are happening now, and you do well to check those every day if you're serious about doing well in Taxi. So, okay, this company is searching for mid to up-tempo songs in the general ballpark of the references below. Feeling It by Danger Twins, It's a Mood by Club Yoko, Wow by Majority V, In Your Head by Isabel Brown. So what I would do first if I decided like, okay, I'm going to try for this listing, I would listen to each of these, listen to them all the way through while taking notes. Take notes on what's the BPM, what's the feel, the vibe for each song, what are the instruments in each song. Is it a male singer? Is it a female singer? Does it have harmonies? Is there no harmonies? How much space is in the song? How orchestrated is it? Just like put on your producer ears and listen to that song, take notes. And then do that for each of the songs, and then you can look at your notes and start to triangulate. Try to find the things that are the same about all of those songs and go with that. So another thing you can do is like download one of these, download these songs, and then you can put them in. I have a really cool plugin called Mastering the Mix Reference, and you can put in your reference tracks like right into that plugin, and it analyzes it against the music that you are making. So it's pretty handy that way. Anyway, the idea is to find, all right, what's the vibe? Because they have this specific thing in their minds, and they're trying their best with these briefs to describe what that is so that you can make them that thing. So, and
did you answer that question?
Where can we listen and find our harp song? We will play it for you. We'll play it for you. It's a really sweet song. It's
really good.
It's really sweet.
Yeah.
So we'll play that in just right after we go through this brief. Yeah, thanks for asking, Sam Jr. All right, please submit current sounding indie pop songs bursting with tons of fun, emotionally upbeat, funky energy that could work well for advertising. You know what? I'm gonna make our giant pictures just like a little smaller over here. Hold on. Maybe. Can I? So y'all can see that. There we go.
And Kamikaze asked, have we recouped our expenses from placements?
No. Not yet.
But we have recouped our expenses in fun and joy and like the pleasure of, I know I sound really sarcastic, but I'm actually being serious.
Yeah.
Like, well, although I'm not paying for it. So that's, that's Anyways,
I agree.
It is a joy. Like it's so like it really does feel like a quest board. Like I feel like I'm in Skyrim, like picking like where I'm gonna go next and putting on like my different outfits.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's like it's so fun to, and so there's always, I don't know if this is the right time to say it, but there's always this spot where we've like worked on it for several hours and we're like about to take a break and it sounds like shit.
Like garbage.
And I'm just like, we're horrible. Why did we even become musicians in the first place? And every single time it ends up like sounding so good. So if you go on this journey, like trust me, there are going to be like several points where you're just like, this is awful.
I should give up. Yep. You are welcome, Sam. Please use that.
Yeah.
Spread it around.
Anyways, the like just keep working on it, and it's I feel like you've used this before, like this analogy. It's like you have like this giant rock, you know, and you're like slowly chipping away at it, and you're not quite sure, like you know where you like what you're sculpting, but you're not quite sure how it's gonna turn out, and it's just like, you know, at one point it just looks like this blob of like crappy rock, you know. But like pushing through like those moments, it's just so worth it. It like I don't know what happens, but we just push through.
Yeah, you push through,
and it ends up sounding incredible.
Yeah,
it is very hard though.
It takes faith.
It takes
faith. Like, oh yes, in the past, I can see from evidence in the past, I have been an A-OK musician and things have turned out fine. And so just trusting that I can do it again. And I think even top musician, do you feel okay?
Mm-hmm. I need to get close to getting
I know.
The camera.
I wish I had like a wide angle lens, but I don't. Yeah. So I could talk on and on about that, but even professionals feel like that. One of my mentors at the Songwriting Academy talked about how when they walk into the writing room with a bunch of like basically strangers. Sometimes they know the people, but sometimes not, and they go in with a feeling like, oh, am I going to bring it today? Am I going to be able to bring it today? Like these are top level people who have worked on chart topping hits, and they still worry about that. So it's pretty normal. Okay. Going through this some more. Yeah. Yeah. So funky energy, positive lyrics. Okay. Paying special attention to these adjectives that they're using. So like groove, simple, impactful, positive lyrics, all needed for these requests. Modern indie pop production in the general wheelhouse of the references will suit your submissions best. Think funky bass lines, synths, horns, etc. Please be sure that your production and any virtual instruments or samples you use are of high quality and not dated sounding. I feel like every single one of these listings says those words. Expressive, well-performed vocals oozing with indie flavor.
Oh.
Oozing. Ew.
Oozing.
Are required as well. Lyrics that avoid references to specific dates, places, times, brands, people, and profanity are requested. This is common. Common. For anything for sync, they don't want it to be super specific. They want it to be general and universal. Do not copy the reference material in any way, shape, or form. Use them only as a guide for tempo, tone, overall vibe. Do not submit any material with unauthorized samples or of any other artist's music, sounds, or any other form of media. Broadcast quality is needed. That is such a great phrase, broadcast quality. And this is totally a Taxi phrase. They came up with that.
Really good to this.
They want a masterpiece. It's true. They do. And it really, they want it to be of... they wanted like, probably what happened is somebody requested one of these songs, right, for their TV show or whatever, and the company making that show was like, we don't have the money for that, no way. So that's why they try to get like indie artists, because we're cheaper and we can do a good job of getting broadcast quality. No, they're not asking for stems, but that's a great question, Kamikaze Shots. So when doing these things, it's a good practice to make at least 2 mixes, which is one is the full mix of the whole song with lyrics and everything, and another one is just instrumental, and those are really, really good to have. They'll often request both of those, and but not for this first pitch, but just have them ready. Always have an instrumental mix ready with no words, and it's good to have the stems ready too. So yeah, I've been a little confused about stems, whether or not to master them or not, but it's good to have them ready. Okay. The specific deal points will be handled on case-by-case basis, always. You must own or control your master and composition to submit to this opportunity. Please submit as many songs as you'd like, online or per CD. So cute. CDs. It's all online. That's really old language. That's funny. All submissions will be screened and critiqued by Taxi. Submissions must be received no later than 11:59. That's suspiciously close to midnight on Wednesday, November 16th. And yep, so then you have the opportunity to submit this to this listing and favorite it. So this is a great example of all, and they have loads of these, and they're all different. Some are just instrumental, some are just cues, which aren't even a whole song, but they're like a very kind of simplified vibe. Anyway, we'll talk about those. But let's talk about our song. It's called "We Still Love You." And let me first read the brief that was on this. So I like to keep everything organized in Trello, where I have, you can see here, I have everything organized in here because on the Taxi website, once the due date is up, the brief is gone. It's no longer available to read. Oh. So this was the brief. It was due on the 29th of April. Emotional, and this was an instrumental, okay? So emotionally uplifting orchestral and piano instrumentals are needed by a music licensing company that's secured tons of placements, major network TV shows, films, commercials, and video games. This company has signed many Taxi members over the years and has garnered lots of placements for them. Always nice to hear. And this company is searching for instrumentals that can be found on a playlist with these 3 things. And these, I don't want to get a copyright ding, but basically they are really kind of soft, rainy day, chill music with like piano and strings, and they're like kind of sweet and soft. And, can you search by closing date? That's a great question. I don't think so.
There was a button that's show listings closing soon.
Ah, look at that. Hello.
I guess nothing's closing soon. We have all the time in the world.
Wow, that is broken.
I wonder what their definition of soon is.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
I feel like that usually works, but that's really odd. But yeah, you can search by keyword. So like if they wanted some like klezmer listings, I'm just going to put that in for fun. Then it would show up. No klezmer listings this time. How about classical? Okay, tons. Yeah. I'm surprised that they're still doing Christmas songs. Usually you get the Christmas songs done by August or July, really. How fun. Anyway, so I guess you can, that should work. Nothing, but yeah, we have all the time in the world. Okay, so please.
Rogue, what do you mean by CD ?
Oh, it's just laughing about the CD.
Oh.
It's cute.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the website, it's funny. It's like, I don't know. It's still kind of 90s. The whole vibe of the website.
I feel like this website works just fine. I'm very technologically challenged.
Yeah. Well,
and haunted.
She is haunted. So if our live stream does go out suddenly, it's Claire's fault. And sorry about that. And love you. Bye. So that's just preemptive in case that happens. Okay, so we were like, all right, expressive melodies, great, excellent arrangements. Okay, top-notch musicianship, awesome. Claire is an amazing musician, and for this particular piece, she played her violin, and it was very beautiful. So your instrumentation should be generally similar to the style of references. Focus on piano. Focus on piano and strings. Focus on piano and strings. Okay. Your production should be polished. And if you plan to use any virtual instruments, be sure they are of high quality and sound like the real deal. Taxi tip, we suggest keeping your submissions on the simpler side melodically. Your job is more about establishing an uplifting mood rather than winning Composer of the Year. And that's I think that's good. You always want to serve the scene rather than serving
Your ego.
yourself and look how good I am. The submission should be about 2 minutes, give or take. Non-faded button stinger ending. Yeah, button or stinger ending means it's like da-dun-dun rather than
a fade out.
fading out.
Yeah.
Just anything other than a fade out. Do not copy the references, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is an exclusive deal. And we would split all upfront sync fees, 50-50s. They get 50% of the publisher's share, and you keep 100% of the writer's share. You must own or control your master. So make sure that nothing you submit is submitted elsewhere. Okay. Oh, kamikaze shots. That's so cool.
But can you exercise technology demons?
Yeah, that would be a great skill if you put that on your business card. That'd be super. Yep. So for those catching the replay, Kamikaze Shot says, Claire, I'm always available for tech support. Instructor in computer networking administration and security. Oh, that's really nice. That's so cool.
Can they not read the comments?
You can,
but they don't show up in the timing that it. Anyways, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Anyway. Okay, so we thought we fucking nailed this. We're like, we love this song.
Let me paint the scene that we were envisioning. So it said like uplifting, something positive.
Yeah.
And so here's what we were thinking. Girl comes home from rehab. Everyone in the family is there in the house. And, he can exercise the demons.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Good. Cool.
All right. That's great. Well, if you would just keep them at bay for this live stream, that would be more than enough.
Thank you.
That'd be great. Excellent. Yes. Gremlin Smasher. Yes.
So rehab girl, family there to welcome her, and you know she's recovering now, and everyone's doing this. Yeah. And then it's slowly panning out through the back patio door. And then you see the whole house, and then the credits.
Okay, we ready to hear this amazing piece of harp? I do hope. Let me know if you can hear it, and I'll play it.
She's home.
She's home.
She's home. But she's not on meth. One. Does that mean yes?
Submissions, they don't stay in the library unless you sign something with the library. So even if it got forwarded onto the library, it does not belong to the library until we sign a piece of paper with that particular library. Not
harp.
taxi.
Listen to the sorry.
Oh yeah.
Very tasteful harp.
know.
Put it in your movie. God.
But okay, so now that you've heard that and we read the brief together, like, oh, this sounds just the thing, right? So let's take a look now at my feedback on past submissions here. Two, we still love you. All right. View feedback. This is from screener 403. And 403 has forwarded on stuff by us before. Oh. Isn't that interesting?
Where's
Usitru?
Oh, it was a different person. There's 2 harp haters.
There's 2 harp haters. Oh my gosh, that's not good. But anyway, so it's not that they hate us. It's just that they hate the harp. And
we're just joking.
We are joking. I mean,
we're like, we don't. It's the rejection is a part of life.
It's so true. For whatever reason, this song did not fit with what they were looking for. So let's look at what they had to say. What I like most about this song. Hi, Lorene. I like the use of tonality and the rhythmic phrasing of this instrumental. Okay, great. I think you could improve this song by this is good, although at 0:57, there is a harp articulation that stands out. The request is for piano and strings.
You read it very angrily, I have to say.
In this request, try an alt arrangement mix and remove the harp and try to match the balance and production sound of reference number 2 to get this closer to the request.
Rogue, you are so right about that. That it is it does have like an uplifting feel, but it's like a melancholic. Yeah, that's, I don't know if they said anything about that.
They didn't say anything about that. They just were like, no harp. Forget it. So,
but you're not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. For sure.
Rogue.
I think it's Rogue. Yeah. Cool. Give us a thumbs up if it's Rogue. Cuz I've heard Kianra say your name is Rock or Rocka.
Rocky.
Anyway,
Rocky.
It's a great name. But yeah, try to match the balance and production sound of reference number 2. It's cool that they gave me a very specific thing because they had all those references, but they're like check number 2. And I returned or forwarded this song because they returned it. The track has a nice flowing feel, although it could benefit from a revision in the arrangement or mix to get closer to the desired character style of sound reference in the requesting in the listing. And so then they have these additional things. I noticed this hurts. Recording and production. Recording mix needs improvement. It's like I know. I know. Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Now I know forevermore. Excellent. Yeah. So, but you can see that they're pretty detailed about the feedback, and harp hating aside, this is pretty helpful.
It's really helpful. I mean, it's really thought out ideas and feedback. Yeah. Yeah, but you're right that Roka, that we could use this for more melancholic listings rather than uplifting. That's a really good point. So, yeah, it is nice that they give, and I feel like that is worth the membership price. Is giving this detailed feedback, because you won't get that with other companies. It's just not part of what they do. So, what else about Taxi do I want to talk about? Let's talk about ones that we did nail, and even from this same screener 403. This continues to be I think the best piece of work I've ever done. I am so proud of this work. Yeah. It's like I like still kind of don't believe that we did that. Right? I know. It's one of my favorite. I think, like, if I had to just pick one song from this year that I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done, this would be it. I'm honored. That's so nice. This song is so dope.
It's so dope. And then we want to make like a maybe an EP, do a couple more songs like it, just because we had so much fun doing it. And
it was, oh my God,
so fun. So
that
fun.
there were lots of goofy little bits about producing this song.
It was so fun. So here was the brief, that they wanted this like spaghetti western sound, right? So fistful of dollars, professional gun, the mercenary, Lorene. Amazing. So they want suspenseful whistling instrumental cues. So it was like, oh, I love this. And this was in the other category. So whistling instrumental cues needed. And
real quick, Kamikaze asked, once they review it, can you resubmit after fixing their issues?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't review it, I think, until after the due date, like until after the listing is closed.
Right. Yeah.
So, but you can resubmit it to a different listing. But I don't think we've ever gotten feedback until after the listing is closed.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
That is a good question. They should do that.
That would be cool. But it takes a lot. I mean, again, these things are very fast paced. So even if they were to get back to me in time, it'd take effort for me to like get back in the song, fix the things that they'd want, and then resubmit it. So yeah, it's like, all right, kind of a better luck next time. There is the listing out there for that song is somewhere, and it there's a place for that song, but just not for this listing. Yeah. So we loved the Back to High Noon. So we loved doing this, and I was immediately like, oh my God, suspenseful whistling. I'm a really good whistler. Let's do this. And
it's no joke. Every time I've played this for someone, they're like, who did the whistling? Every time. Anyways.
So fun. So this is when we were just like, we felt so good about this song. We felt like we nailed it. And even if we didn't, I fucking love this song. And so let me play for you our High Noon whistling song. Okay, here we go.
I haven't listened to this in a while. showdown.
Yes, we can absolutely do the review for this kamikaze shot.
So I want to say something really quick, and I feel like this is one of, at least working with you, like one of the most useful like recording, exploring techniques that we've come upon is with like the whistle. Like it sounded so good, but like it's like the puzzle pieces didn't quite fit. So what we ended up doing was like chopping up the whistle into bits that we liked.
Mm-hmm.
And copying and paste it, like being like, ooh, this would sound really good, like over here. And so we literally just rearranged these whistle bits.
Yeah.
And then applied Melodyne and
Yes.
like messed around with like, oh God, we did some really fun.
It was
things,
really fun.
Messing with the pitch.
Yeah.
But like that whole like chopping it up and rearranging. We did that with my violin for the piece before this too.
Yeah.
And that, like, I really feel like that was such an interesting way to, like, write a melody, essentially.
Yeah.
And it just, like, I really feel like we created a character. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
like, it
Yeah.
didn't feel like an instrument.
Right.
It felt like we literally wrote a character.
Yeah.
I highly recommend trying that if you're ever stumped for a melody.
Yeah.
Just play. And there'll be little bits.
Yeah.
Just gotta put them where they go.
Absolutely. That was that was pretty revolutionary, I think, for us, because like we had the structure of the song, chord structure, but yeah, I knew I wanted to whistle because that there it is in all caps, suspenseful whistling instrumental cues. So I went through and like we recorded a couple of whistles, and by the time I was done, I'm like, my face is not working anymore.
I forgot about that.
I can't. So we got the best. We took those bits, and it's like it's not quite comping. It wasn't the same as comping because it was like it was ad lib, and we really kind of built the melody from our favorite parts, the parts that made us go, "Ooh, that part, yes," So and just took only those parts. So it was really cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, so Kamikaze Shot's asking, no samples. Is that is that characteristic? I think for us, we try to do a lot of real instruments and real singing, and but I am not against virtual, as you know. I am not against virtual instruments. I love virtual instruments. And
we had a lot of, like, even though I'm a violin player, all of those strings were virtual.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that pad of strings. Yeah, yeah.
But the guitars were both us playing.
Yeah, Claire plays a mean, like, nylon string guitar. So beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah, and then I feel like we use a lot of samples, but we use a lot of virtual instruments, but not samples.
Yes, that's a good distinction. Yeah, where the virtual instruments we use are like sample based, but they're not a sample. Per se. But yeah, that little like the spurs sound came from some like ankle dancing bells that I had, and of course the whistling, and then the real guitars. I played the tremolo guitar on that one, and Claire played the nylon string, and yeah, just the way it came together was so satisfying. So satisfying.
Another thing that I want to say too, this was my first time like doing panning work. And it was like, for me, like, I highly recommend. Oh well, you can't listen to it. Shit.
What?
Well,
what?
Oh no, you can. You can go back and listen to this once it plays. Anyways, I highly recommend listening to that song with earphones, because the panning is like really detailed and specific, and like that whole thing that I said about like the whistle becoming a character, like. When we were working on this panning, like I kind of was like narrating like this story to explain why we were panning things. So like the church bell and the nylon guitar was like this town. And there were two brothers who was the tremolo guitar, and he like became the sheriff. And and then there's the whistling brother, who is kind of like the wild one.
He's the loose cannon.
He's the loose cannon going in and out of town. And if you'll like listen, like they kind of converse with each other. Mm-hmm. And there's like times when they kind of like switch sides.
Yeah.
And like almost but the whistle is like is just like kind of flowing in and out, and it's like meant to be like, yeah, this story of like there's this solid center of a town.
Yeah.
And then this
there's
kind
like the
of
church
like
tower
loose cannon
off in the distance.
And then there's this loose cannon little whistler,
yeah.
Just like going in and out of town as he pleases, not caring who he affects. Or she.
Right, or she.
Anyways, so it was cool to like write a story to help with knowing where to put stuff in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. We had the Spurs like walking across the stereo
I forgot
field.
About that. Yes.
Yeah. So I think it added so much about like just thinking about panning. You don't just do stuff to do stuff. It was like we had reasons, and it's similar for panning for like orchestras or even for bands. Like, okay, our guitar player's sitting over on the left, and our piano players are sort of on like the middle left, and then our singer's right in the middle, and our drummer is like in the back a little to the right, and then the drum kit gets panned out a little bit too. So all the things. But yeah, so yes, Contact is a sampler with steroids. Synth options and mods. Yeah. So Contact is a sample based for sure. We didn't use Contact on this one. For this one, we used the wonderful, outstanding BBC Discover set by Spitfire Audio, which is free, and it's just the percussion on that, like the tubular bells are from that, and
the tubular bells,
the timpani
are
it's wonderful,
outstanding.
They're beautiful samples on that. Yeah, and panning makes space for everybody. Absolutely. So all the voices kind of like they have their own space in the stereo field, and it makes it just more dimensional. It makes like a town you can just step into. So this is what the screener who forwarded this song said about it. Hi, Lorene. Oh. I like the character and attitude of this suspenseful whistling instrumental cue. I think you can improve this song by this is my favorite. Nice work. Good job.
No improvements. It's perfect.
This meets the listing's request. Yeah. And that was it. It's like, it's kind of like no news is good news. Like, we love it. Great. We're forwarding it. So that's what they said. They said we nailed it, and we felt great about it. So out of the 15 things, just to give you a little context, out of the 15 things that I have pitched to Taxi, I have 4 of them forwarded. And we had the great sort of luck of the very first thing that we pitched. Which this was in the other category, was a cover of, I guess it's a cover. I mean, it's it's public domain. It was God Save the Queen.
Not the Pogues.
Not the Pogues. No.
The bad one.
A very classical arrangement of God Save the Queen. And that was forwarded, and that was the first thing we ever tried.
And we had like 3 days.
It was like we did this whole orchestration where I played tuba, Claire played violin. We made a whole fucking orchestra out of just the two of us.
Like sang
we
like
sang
4 or 5 parts each. Let's play a little bit.
Okay.
It's obnoxious.
It's wonderful and colonialist.
Yes, it's very colonial.
Just to give you a little context about what the listing was for God Save the Queen. It was pretty. Oh, I didn't even. This was like before I.
You knew what you were doing.
I knew. Oh, no. Oh, here we go. Cool. So this was my favorite category. Is the hard to classify specialty or novelty. Covers of the British national anthem with male or female vocals are needed by a very successful music licensing company. And so the reference that they gave was like just a band. It was an orchestra, really, version of it. Very straight. And so they want the instruments to sound real. They want it expressive. And so we made this arrangement. I'm especially proud, I have to say, of our fanfare in the beginning. That is all us.
Oh, I forgot about the fanfare.
The fanfare is all. That is our original.
It is
original orchestration on this opening fanfare to God Save the Queen. So
and real quick, kamikaze. You do not pay. Oh wait, do you pay to forward? No, you have to pay to submit.
Oh, that's a great question. So yes, you don't pay to forward, but so what they do so that. I think it's so that members don't send every single thing that they've made ever to every listing ever. They have a little $5 gatekeeping fee. I'm going to call it that. They have a little $5 fee that you pay to submit any song. So it's $5 per song that you submit. So I guess it's just enough to like get people serious about, oh, I think that this song, this piece of music fits this particular listing. So there is that. Some I know some folks thinks that is bullcrap, that you pay a membership and then you also pay to submit, pay to play, if you will. But I get it. And maybe it is bullcrap, but I get it. So our God Save the Queen, this marvelous piece of thing that we made.
Piece of thing.
It is a piece of thing. Where is it? Hello. Did I not? Oh, no. Oh, here it is. Okay. Are you ready for this fanfare? Here we go. God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen.
Oh, and now she's dead.
That may very well be the reason they wanted this song. You knew it was coming.
So I looked at some like live versions of for the fanfare ideas, and they would like, of course, always pan to the Queen, and she was always like,
Kind of like that face you make when people are singing you happy birthday.
yeah, delightful. I loved it. I fell in love with her. That was so funny. Yeah.
Frustrate their knavish tricks.
Yep, that's the best line.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you see how this builds? Look at this. Beautiful. You did a good job.
I did, and I got
I just found this awesome. I really do. I mean, we did a. Listen to this. Think it's good to build. First thing we ever submitted to Taxi. At the end. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, boy.
This has been fun. Yeah. So overall, Taxi, I think, has been really helpful, and it got us to write things that we would have never thought to write.
Like, yeah,
We would have
specifically what you just heard.
right? Those things. Like, I wouldn't just be chilling at home with Claire, being like, wait, where are we gonna write a suspenseful whistling song today? How about a full orchestration of God Save the Queen?
I love that song. Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's my favorite.
I was actually just thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So what a
I
cool...
was thinking it would be cool to. I love what we did with the bass drum in Où ça trouve.
Oh.
Yeah. So one of the it was the pitch was for like 60s pop.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the references was, this Francois Hardy. So if you want to listen, if you're listening to this later, pause and listen to that Francois Hardy song. And we were just like, there's just like this certain sound of like the bass that is like of that time.
Right.
And we, I can't remember. I think we layered like a few bass drums on top of each other and mixed them all like a little bit differently.
Anyway, so it was very cool that we got to be able to like create this sound that sounded old
but sounded real.
Yeah, it was and it was just like a very careful listening to each one of these. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Yep. And yeah, so it was very specific, and they wanted this vintage sound. And this happens sometimes. They'll have like a period piece that they're trying to get music for or whatever. We have no idea. But I just happen to be friends with a singer who just happens to be in a French band. They are called Pardon My French. They're a phenomenal band here in New Orleans. None of them speak French, yet they sing in French, and she is just...
I didn't know that. I thought she spoke French. No. She just sings in French.
She just sings fantastically in French. And it's like, she has this totally like sexy French.
That picture on the staircase is her, and that's how she sings. So just imagine that.
That's right. Yeah. So this is my friend Caroline Formy, who we wrote this song with, and we just nailed it. And she did just such a great job with the delivery, and I felt like our production was so in the pocket for what they wanted.
And I specifically remember, so earlier in this live stream, we talked about that like space, like where you have worked on a song for a while and you listen and it's just like, this is awful. And like you're done for the day and it's just like, and you just have to leave it there at being a giant pile of poop. And then you come back to it and it's still a poop. And I remember specifically this one just being like, we're not gonna get it. And then we just kept going, and here
we
it is.
Have Où se trouve.
Où se trouve.
For your listening enjoyment.
Où se trouve la petite fleur d'amour? Où se trouve le temps heureux toujours? Où se trouve de l'homme auquel je veux voir? Dans mon cœur, je te découvre.
That's us singing in the background there.
Quand je cherche les messages des étoiles
One spoken word.
dans toute sa lumière, je ne vois pas ce qui est évident toujours. Ton amour vit dans mon cœur, et je regarde ton cœur dans moi, et c'est la même chose dans toi. On s'aime, et ça ne changera pas. Où se
I have no idea what she just said, but it's hot.
la petite fleur d'amour?
Yeah. Lorene doesn't smoke.
I don't
Se
even know.
trouve le temps heureux toujours. Où se trouve
Thank you, Kamikaze.
je vois dans mon cœur, je te découvre. Mon amour, je t'aime toujours. Retourne à moi maintenant.
many things from that production too, just listening to it. And also, fun fact about Taxi is that when you do get something forwarded, they have what's called a forwards blog. And so this is how I met one of my collaborators, Christian Imond. What the wonderful Christian Imond of the Golden Voice. And
David Bowie. He's somehow David Bowie, Leonard Cohen,
Vincent Price.
Yet he's his own thing.
Yeah. The wonderful Christian Imond. So we met through Taxi, specifically through that song, because he is a French speaker, and he really he tried out for that pitch as well, and didn't get forwarded. But yeah, so that was one where it was like,
I forgot that's how you met.
Yeah,
oh,
and he and I have done several songs, and we have more in the works. I have been squirreled up with other things, but we have more stuff in the works together, and I'm really excited about it. He's so much fun to work with, and just his voice is totally unique and awesome.
It's like it's theatrical and gorgeous and silly and
it's like everything.
Just like it's incredible.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
We have a silly one that we're working on now too, which I'm really excited about. It's about a clumsy vampire, and it's going to be great. So what they said about Ouz Trouve, while we're on this kick, very fun retro style French pop song. I like the sensual vocals, polished underscore, and classic sound.
Yes, it's all that work with the bass drum.
That's right. Works well as is. Lovely. Really nice option. Pretty vocals, polished underscore, authentic and retro sound. So they loved it. It got forwarded. We heard nothing, and that's normal.
I'm sorry to keep harping on the bass drum, but like it really so in that Francois Hardy song, that was like a big driving like part of that song, and I think we used a similar, if not the same, drum bass drum beat as Francois Hardy, and I just remember like it's just like there's like something off about Ouz Trouve, and I like it felt too modern, and it really was like the like nailing that bass drum, studying like different bass drums and like figuring out like what exactly like what are those overtones like and once we nailed it, like it really changed the whole song.
That's true.
The feeling of the whole song.
Yeah, and keeping it with instrumentals that were instruments that would have been used at that time too. Like this was a piece where I learned about the fantastic mellotron, and I just love the sound. I mean, I've always loved the sound of the mellotron. I grew up like a big Beatles fan, so you hear that a ton. And there's a really excellent free plugin for the mellotron sound. It's by Redtron. Anyway, it's fantastic. So I use that to give it that like extra vintage, because that's such a like 60s sound. And then the tremolo guitar, of course. So yeah, that song is awesome. And again, this was something like I wouldn't have thought to do this. Like I knew my friend Caroline had her French band and they were doing covers and everything. She never thought to write a song. This was her first song that she wrote in French. And it was just a hit, and like they played it at Jazz Fest here in New Orleans. They were on the stage for the like returning Jazz Fest after 2 years, and it was like such a triumph to hear our song being played with her band. It was just really, really satisfying. So this song has a life, even though it's been forwarded and we haven't heard anything. Who knows? We may hear things. I've heard stories of people hearing back from things like 2-3 years down the road after having something forwarded. So that's not out of the realm of possibility either.
And like we can always like choose to like pitch it to different, like we have agency in it, you know, which is really cool, you know?
Yeah.
We haven't signed any contracts, so we can do whatever we want with it.
Right. Yeah. We pitched one more French song. Should we play that one and then like call it a day for this? So
I was thinking we could say how we'd approach a pitch or just wrap it up.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll see how we feel after this one. So there was at this time there were like 2 listings that needed
Oh yeah.
French 60s songs. And oh yeah, kamikaze shots. Totally. Devil's Hound is one that Christian, Iman, and I are going to come back to because that is such a cool song. And yeah, it needs just a little bit of work to like get it over the final hump of production. But yeah, it's such a cool song. Do you want to see what they said about it? Since you're here and I've got this going. Devil's Hound was rejected for the pitch that it was for, which is a bummer. And here's what they said about it. Oh, where's my...
You clicked the one next to the one.
Oopsie doodle. Past submissions. Okay. So with Devil's Hound... Oh, you know what? I think I don't have that feedback because Christian turned it in. I wonder if I have it here. Yep. Okay. Here's what they said. The story is well written and the song has the requested dark mood. I think... okay, this drives me nuts because the request was for like a 90s sounding song. Okay, so date it. I think
like very specific, like
Nick Cave,
like MIDI sounding things.
Kind of like, yeah. So this was baffling to me. Like, I think you could improve this song by using instrumentation that was more similar to the reference tracks. It was like, dude, we totally did. Anyway, and creating a wider, more inviting melodic arc. Like, okay.
What?
Okay. While communicating more of the emotion of the lyrics vocally. It's like, are you serious? Did you hear Christian singing that? Anyway, he sounds like Nick Cave and David Bowie and Vincent Price. Oh my God. I returned the song because I didn't hear the kind of engaging melodies or polished production needed to nail the forward. Melody could be stronger. Vocal performance off target for the listing. That is bewildering to me. Bewildering. Song, instrument sounds, or samples sound dated or of lower quality. It's like
the 90s.
You requested a
30. That the 90s is 30 years ago. Okay, now I want to listen to it.
Okay, all right. You want to hear that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good tune. Yeah. Anyway. Let me see where I have Devil's Hound. It's such a cool song. And it just didn't...
I want to meet him.
Oh, Christian's awesome. He's such a sweetheart. Oh, because Christian... I have it on my SoundCloud. Got lots of stuff in the works on my SoundCloud. It's all private. All right, here we go.
You're right, Kamikaze. It's so wrong.
Born from evil, no chance of changing.
Were they listening
I
to the right
learned
song?
to enjoy the joy of hurting. Everything I love ends up dying.
Kind of Johnny Cash.
So
Yeah.
I don't care
I have goosebumps.
anything anymore.
I really like working with Christian. I like working with his
Living
voice. His voice is so fun because it's just
for the darkness,
the tremolo guitar.
addicted to the pain. The day is coming soon when I'll pay for all my sins.
Right, Kamikaze? His voice is...
Even begging on my knees.
Thank you for being devil's advocate
Stand
staff.
for me.
We're on our pedestal. Our pedestal of
Who's gonna
loving
save
Christian's
me when
voice to
I'm
the end of the world.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
All the
Team Christian Iman, for sure.
could never free me, free me, free me, free me from the devil's hound. He's I hear him searching for my soul, anticipating
This is fun.
my path to hell.
I didn't work on this one with Claire, but
I'm a fangirl for Christian.
Satan's chores. No one's gonna save me, even begging on my knees. No
it was mostly Christian, and I
below is where I'm.
helped with like refining. Christian's a really good writer.
Save me when I'm staring up that hole in the
So it was a co-effort, but I would say both.
Others in the world could never free me, free me, free me, free me from the devil's hound.
Ooh.
Oh, it's so cool. It was rejected. Why? Anyway, for whatever reason, it wasn't right for their pitch, and that's okay. Oh, our old friend. So it's funny, like, so these things that I'm like most proud of, you would think, okay, so you like play tremolo guitar and whistle, and that's your thing. But meanwhile, I'm like doing things like this electro pop stuff that I do where it's not that at all.
This song is so good. We should revisit the music video.
Okay. Yeah. We should. No, we should.
So sad.
We should. You're right.
Why was so sad?
It's wild to think that this was done a year ago. I came out with this EP a year ago. Such a cool song. But like, so this is where I'm like, how do I talk about myself at the taxi rally, right? It's like, I do things like High Noon and Devil Town, but then I do like electro pop. I don't know.
I mean, you're like, you're a lifetime musician and producer, and you're finding your style.
That's true.
So you know the deal. How to stay safe.
No, it's okay. I mean, I have my doubts of like anybody, you know. Should I be doing this? It's wild that this song, I'm still proud of this song.
It's so
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, I'll be working on another album of songs that are like this. It's on like before I knew soul, all the things that I know about K-pop. I did this before anyway. I did half of this song in Acid Pro. Yeah, not on Acid, in Acid Pro. It's a program that's been around for a long time, and it's unfortunate. It was a good program, but the support for it is just not there anymore. So, Cakewalk, and I have not looked back. I haven't pitched. No, have I pitched? Oh, if you want to see what they said about it. Okay. Yeah. Tuba. I tell people I play pop tuba, and they're like, "That's not a thing." Like, you haven't heard my music. So what they said about that, I think I pitched it to a pop listing, and I think they did the thing where it's like sounds dated and poorly produced. I was like, okay.
That's really surprising.
So they say I like the mysterious quality the song has. However, it would need some modernizing in the production. So, yeah, I'd work on treating the vocals for modern polish. I'd also suggest influencing more rhythmic, fresh influence to your melodies. It's like, okay, this is not coming across as ultra modern, and it's like, okay, I kind of get that because
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I thought it fit with the listings that they listed, and they were just like, production's not strong enough. Vocal performance doesn't sell the song. Melody could be stronger. It's like, oh, really?
So, like, with things like this, I have no idea what the hell ultra modern alt pop electro pop means, and like what they mean it like more modernizing in the production, but like that's because I don't listen to modern music really. And so like I'm gonna go back to that kick drum. That like I didn't know what the hell a 60s kick drum sounded like. Like, who just knows that besides Mark Rubel?
Right. Well, Mark Rubel is amazing.
But, like, what, like, when they ask for these, like, really, like she said before, like, pay attention to the adjectives, you know, and, like, look at specifically, like, what they're asking for and, like, listen. And it's like, okay, what gives it that quality? Like, why, like what about the vocal production specifically makes it modern, you know? Because I would have no fucking clue. Like that sounds like it was written tomorrow to me.
Aw, thank you, Claire.
Yes, ultra modern, modernist.
It was written tomorrow.
Yeah.
Aww.
So I don't know the difference, but like we can educate ourselves, you know,
That's true.
by like paying very close attention to these words and you get to learn so much.
It's so true.
By
It's so
like
true.
trying to replicate like specific timbres.
Absolutely. And actually this brings up a good subject because I pitched this thinking, maybe it'll work, rather than specifically writing to the brief. This was something that I already had in my back pocket. I thought, okay, this kind of fits. But I think that's the other thing about Taxi is that it works better when you write to the brief rather than like pitching stuff you already have. It just tends to work better. So that's kind of a good example of it where it's like, and this song was also one that I wrote kind of innocently, I guess. So before I knew about reference tracks, before I knew about a lot of things, but it was just coming like straight from my soul, and it was just kind of like very innocent. So now I would write to the brief.
I personally think if you think something of yours fits, like $5 is a lot of money, but like at the same time, like I feel like this was a good submission. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's worth a try. You know?
Right.
I don't think
Some things are.
to me, I don't feel like there's like any problem with like if you think it fits, cool. But like writing to the brief is obviously like the way to go and the way to learn.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, as like you build your catalog, you know,
Right.
like that's what it's for.
It's true
For
that
pitching it.
it is. That's very true, Claire. Very, very good point. Yeah. So Sam Jr. Music is asking, define modernization in my opinion. I think that's a great question. Boy, and that's tricky. I think it changes. There's a lot of trends. Like I was just listening to kind of production breakdown of the Justin Bieber song "What Do You Mean," which is like 2017 now. That's a cool production. I really like that song anyway. And it is pretty sparse. I think that tends to be kind of modern. Actually, I would say that
It's not spar.
It's not spar. So it like having it be kind of not much going on except like there's the drums and there's the bass and there's the melody. Having a lot of space for the lyrics having that really be up front and center. I would call that very modern pop.
Interesting.
Lots of space, more space than you'd even think. Like I tend to do these Baroque kind of elaborate things. Y'all have seen me work, so it's been like, I'm gonna take this one hi-hat sound and like make the EQ wiggle like this for this one part, and then I'm gonna like layer up all these other swooshes and like add some strings, so I'm like in there like I have a whole orchestra. And sometimes I think modernization is about editing, taking out and putting the vocal, making that be the main thing. So that would be my opinion for modernization, is having like a lot of restraint and keeping things simplified. And simple does not mean easy. So yeah.
I'm going to also say, like, what is modern literally changes every second.
Mm-hmm. So true.
As we progress in time. And I think, what I was saying before, like, listening to the reference tracks, like that's their definition of modern.
Yeah. Good point.
Because I think like things go in and out of trend. Like I feel like being really sparse, like that's probably gone in and out of style like several times.
Oh yeah, it was not in style in the 50s. Like they were putting and 50s through the 70s. We were looking at like really like string arrangements in pop music were huge. Those are starting to come back. Mm-hmm. String arrangements in pop music is really, really making a comeback. But things were kind of complex. So yeah, absolutely. Pendulums.
Yeah. And I feel like
swings.
Artists can have like a wide variety of like production. Like Adele, like with both of the things that you've talked about, it like has had like full orchestras behind her and then her and a piano. And I think once again it depends on the references.
Yeah. So true, especially for taxi listings. I think it's all about the reference. It's all about the reference, and then those little adjectives that they throw in the briefs, paying special attention to that. So back kamikaze shots. You're talking about the return on investment with taxi, and here's what I have to say about that. Sync licensing is the opposite of instant gratification. It can take years for a piece to get picked up from a library. And that's not the fault of anyone, really. It's just like, it's how it can work. So I feel like 1 year in taxi isn't enough for me to give up on taxi yet. I mean, I'm never giving up on sync and licensing. I'm just going to keep making things and trying to pitch them wherever I can. But if you're not interested in taxi, and if you can't like swing the cost, let me highly recommend Midio. Midio is just incredible. It's so centered on musicians, and just they want musicians to win. It's Justin Gray is the company founder of Midio, and they're just awesome. You can. It's a lot like taxi in a way, in some ways, in that but it is free, and they have a lot of educational resources.
Wow.
And you like can upload your stuff, just like, so you've been looking at my taxi page, right, where I can upload my things, and I have my whole, like, they have their pitches and stuff. So with Midio, I already signed up. Let me sign in. Can I sign in? Yes. Okay. So with Midio, it's like they're doing this whole thing where they're trying to like improve on what taxi kind of started in a way. They don't say that outright. I think I asked them once, like, okay, so are you kind of like taxi? And they're like, we're like taxi in that we're the opposite. I mean, Justin is hilarious, by the way, and his newsletters are absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Like, so encouraging and sweet and smart. So here's the things that you can do. So like, I just did this songwriting camp, and it was so fun. They throw you into a room with like 3 or 4 strangers, and then quickly you become not strangers as you write a song together and produce a song. And it's been so fun. yeah, I have my own little thing, a lot like Taxi, so you can view my profile. And so here's my tracks that I have list. I need to get everything up on Mideo because it's free. There's not, and they don't charge you to pitch. They just sort of trust like that you're gonna pitch to things that make sense to pitch to. So Kamikaze Shots, get on Mideo. You have literally nothing to lose and everything to gain because there's just the sweetest community, and it is. It's the most professional community I've been a part of, and I've been a part of the TSA. I've been a part of
Really?
Home Studio Boss. I've been a part of Taxi, and I would say that like this Mideo community is the most professional. Like I've been in 2 writing camps, both of which had producers that like were like, okay, who's got the contract for us? And it's like, okay, we're signing the song splits right now. We are doing this and making it official. So it was very, very cool. Yeah. I've been really pleased to see how this community is growing and building. And like they're not paying me to say this. By the way, I'm really passionate about Mideo because they're doing it right. I feel like they're doing it right, and it's free, and they really want musicians to win. They want songwriters to win. They want producers to win. And
What do you mean by win?
like make money. They want to give you projects and opportunities to have real live briefs, just like Taxi, and make sure that you can. What?
Is that yours? Is that your description?
No.
Oh.
No. Yeah, I didn't write this.
Why? Why didn't you tell me?
That's funny.
What are boutique libraries?
Boutique libraries are small libraries that tend to specialize in a particular area of music. Like there's somebody at the Taxi Rally who runs a boutique library that specializes in retro style music. Like it could be like new retro, kind of like Amy Winehouse or like any like Bruno Mars kind of stuff like that. That's like new retro. Some boutique libraries just focus on having artists that are just focus on like just pop or just rock. But that's not necessarily true. It can also just be like a vibe of who they work for, or it might be a specific thing that they're serving. Like maybe they only serve game communities, but it just tends to be specialized. That, from what I understand, that's how I understand boutique libraries. Yeah. Are you in Home Studio Boss? Kamikaze Shots? That's cool. Yeah, I'm also still going through it. There's tons of information. Chris Bradley's great. But yeah, the community that she's building, she focuses on beginners, and she focuses on people who are new to the business side of it, and she walks them through it, and it's beautiful, and I love it. And also, when you're collaborating a lot with people in that community, there can be quite a bit of hand-holding, as if you are more familiar with like the business side of things, the contract side of things, and how the different royalty streams work, which I'd like to do a video just on that, where it's like, here's the crash course on how music business works. Okay, go. And like I have like only 10 minutes to explain all of it that I understand, because it does get confusing. Yeah.
Oh, shit, what time is it?
Oh, we should probably wrap it up. But yeah, this has been so fun. It's 6 o'clock. Yeah, this has been so fun. Thank you so much for hanging out and listening to us talk about our experience with Taxi, and listen to our music that we made that we're really proud of. And yeah, I'm really excited to go to the conference next week and like meet some other taxiers and meet some music supervisors and just listen to some great speakers and have a sense of community in Taxi too. There's a jet going.
They're celebrating the end of our live stream. Woo, fireworks! Boom, boom, boom. I don't know if you could even hear that, but anyways, it was a loud plane.
Yeah, anyway. But yeah, well, Kamikaze Shots, thank you. I'm glad that was a helpful kind of walkthrough. Yeah, I think Taxi has been worth it for me, but I'm super pumped about Mideo. So get on it if you're at all interested in sync and licensing. They're just the sweetest. Get on their newsletter. and just join up with their songwriting camps and everything that you can with them because they're darling and I love them. So yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, I got stickers made. Oh, that's cute. They're like green.
Oh, because
screen.
it's green.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with those yet, except just give them out at the conference. But who knows? All right. Well, I think I will wrap this up. I hope you have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you, and if you're watching this on the replay, yeah, have a fantastic day. Make lots of music and have lots of fun, 'cause that's what life's about. Boop boop.
Boop boop be doo.
Claire, thank you so much for joining me on the Protostyle channel. Here we go. Yes, that's how it's done.
No, it's your turn. Flesh friend.
All right. Well, I may, if you enjoyed this, I'm sure I'll have Claire back again and talk more shop about actually going about how we would approach a brief and like just maybe do one live for you and just like try and go for it.
We gonna do it.
Yeah. So maybe when I get back, we'll do something like that where maybe I can even set up 2 cameras or something like that where we could be like at the keyboard and be, working on a track
That'd be
live.
nice, so I didn't have to be
cool.
all,
Right, I know.
all over Lorene.
We're real cozy right now. Plus, we are considering.
My butt is hurting too.
Okay, it's time then.
Yeah. What are you saying?
Oh, I was gonna tell them about bad jazzy jazz.
Bad jazzy jazz.
We possibly have a YouTube channel that we're gonna be starting together called Bad Jazzy Jazz. That's gonna just be the worst music you've ever heard, and it's kind of like an outlet for just like it's good to have a stress-free zone for making music where it just does not matter at all. So yeah, we're just gonna make some shit music and work on that maybe when I get back. But yes, the Flesh Friend handshake. Yes. That's horrible. All right, I'm gonna stop streaming now.